So, on a recent ESPN article that came out, Jeremy Fowler, Lewis Riddick, Seth Welder, and Field Yates came together to create a list that involved the 3-year outlook of every single NFL franchise. This involved several metrics that they put into this grading scale, which we'll get into further in the video. And I wanted to talk about whether or not they gave the Cowboys a fair grade and if it makes sense to put them in the position that they're at. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell for more Dallas Cowboys content as it comes out. So when you take a look at the list, the Dallas Cowboys were placed 20th overall, with an overall score of 77.6. Now, according to their scale, we need to make sure that we put this into complete effect, right? They're rating the team on the following: quarterback situation, remaining non-quarterback roster, drafting ability, front office, and coaching staff over a 3-year period. If you're 100, you're in the elite category. 90, it means you're great. 80, very good. 70, average. 60, very bad. 50 and lower is disastrous. Okay? So, the Cowboys were given a 77.6, which puts them at a C+, a above average future over the next 3 seasons. Now, you might be asking, well, why did they put them there, and what are the worries and how things could change? So, they said the following: the Cowboys have a lot of foundational pieces on their roster that bring significant optimism. I'm bullish on quarterback Dak Prescott. Micah Parsons could be a perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and receiver CeeDee Lamb oozes stardom. The list goes on. But that theme has persisted for too long, as their rank in this list reflects too many years of falling short of expectations. And while coaching hot seats are a conversation usually better reserved for mid-season at the earliest, there is unquestioned pressure on Mike McCarthy to win big this season. The biggest worry is that the story remains the same when it comes to coaching: situational football, clock management, taking full advantage from a tactical standpoint of the personnel you have at your disposal, particularly on offense. That is all McCarthy's responsibility. If Dallas is not better in those areas in 2022, it will likely have a new head coach in 2023. What could change for the better? Groom Lamb for top 10 receiver status. He's on his way. Cultivate that relationship with Lamb and Prescott. Reinforce an aging offensive line, and prepare for life after Dalton Schultz, who won't be eager to sign an extension after playing on the franchise tag this year. Dallas didn't make spirited efforts to re-sign the tight end, and that wears on players. Stat to know: the Cowboys ranked 3rd on defense in expected points added per play in 2021, but only 12th with interceptions and fumbles removed. Defense was a big part of the reason Dallas won 12 games last season, but being so turnover dependent should lead to some skepticism that it can repeat that efficiency. So the 4 of them all came together and they gave the Cowboys that following grade. If you look at the actual overall criteria, they put them 9th for the ranking of a quarterback, 31st for coaching, draft is 21st, and front office 23rd. Now, the big thing that kind of bothers me with this entire situation that they're trying to put the Cowboys in over the next 3 seasons is this. I get it. There's a lot of pressure for Mike McCarthy to succeed in 2022 and going forward. But I do not believe that Mike McCarthy will be canned unless the Cowboys have a very, very bad season, okay? And to say that in the next 3 years the Dallas Cowboys will have one of the worst coaching staffs, or in that realm of being the worst, I think is kind of very, very unfair. Because if you think about it this way, if you fire Mike McCarthy but get a better coach than him, what does that say for the outlook of the team? Arguably, what you should be saying is, okay, the Dallas Cowboys aren't tied to the hip with Mike McCarthy, and yes, there's pressure there. However, if he performs well, then maybe, just maybe, you're in a better situation. But again, that's talking about the 3-year outlook of the team. Next, I would say that front office should be a little bit lower in my opinion because of their lack of being aggressive in the offseason. I'm shocked that they didn't mention that as much. And the drafting could be a little bit higher as well. And the quarterback is fine. That's a fine if you want to put it there. The overall roster being ranked 20th overall, I think that if you're kind of looking at how the Cowboys are approaching their roster building, it feels like they're going through a soft retool / rebuild of the team, which, if this takes place over the next 2 seasons, you could be seeing the Cowboys do something possibly with what they're trying to do. You can see they're trying to retool the offensive line. They're trying to move around pieces to make this entire team better, even though I get annoyed with how they do it. But there's no question that the Dallas Cowboys are trying to at least kick the tires on making sure that they don't get caught in the future with having an old, aging offensive line that breaks down and having no replacements there, and go through what they went through between the years of 2011 and 2013 just to get this team back on track. Meanwhile, the front office, as mentioned, should be a lot lower, and I would possibly put him, if it were up to me, and I'm not going to go through like an in-depth about everybody else, I think you can argue they are even lower than 23. Why is that? Because their lack of signing outside free agents is what's holding the team back. But key here, they're not signing quality free agents to replace the talent they lose. Hence why the overall roster over the next 3 seasons, you can argue, could be lower in terms of the ranking. In the next 3 years, you will see guys like Micah Parsons, Trevon Diggs, CeeDee Lamb come up for contract extensions, and if the Cowboys elect to not bring these individuals back or play hardball, they could be screwed going down the line. I don't think that Dalton Schultz is going to be a big impact on whether or not the roster or the front office fails. However, the way they go about it, especially with how they handle Dalton Schultz, will be a key telling sign for how the team will handle other contract negotiations going forward, as they have done with DeMarcus Lawrence, as they have done with Dak Prescott, and so on and so forth. So I would say that that is a fair score to give the Dallas Cowboys. I would say that you should move some scores around to make it make sense. And I would say that the Cowboys being put in an above-average situation is fair. The Cowboys have plenty of good things going for them. They're set at the quarterback position. They got a young superstar in Micah Parsons, who will be one of the best defensive players in the league going forward. They have guys like Trevon Diggs and CeeDee Lamb, and the offensive line will be going through a little bit of a mini retool as we speak, so that we can try to see if we can continue to keep this offense humming. Also, you kind of look at the outlook over the next 3 years, you're going to have a guy like Michael Gallup being around. It's not like you don't have a valid number 2 option. I would say defensively is going to be the biggest question mark as the Cowboys move into the 3rd year of the McCarthy era and going forward. If he stays, let's say, the next 2 seasons, with him having that 5-year deal, that big question is, okay, if year 3 is a disappointment, what do you do? But if year 3 is another playoffs, you get in but win a playoff game and lose in the divisional round or something of that, caliber, whatever the case may be, now you're having another discussion of, okay, you made the playoffs again, you improved in what you did. Does that justify letting Mike McCarthy go? Which in my opinion, it doesn't. If Mike McCarthy does better in the postseason than he did last season, then I don't think that you can legitimately be like, okay, well, he's gone, So I don't mean to take too much of your time, but I would say that the Cowboys do have in the next 3 seasons an above average grade for the outlook of the team. If the team continues on the track that they're trying to do, they probably will get out of this soft rebuild / retool by 2023, if not 2024, if they're trying to make a push in that year, and we'll see how things go. But the Dallas Cowboys are putting themselves in this particular situation because if the front office was better at adding talent that leaves, then the Cowboys would be in the upper tier of 3-year windows. But the Cowboys are saying, hey, we got to hit the reset button a little bit just so that we can make sure that this team is good enough to win games, but not bad enough to really get high draft capital. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this piece that we did talking about where the Cowboys stand in the next 3 years and just how they fare now. And without further ado, I will catch you guys later. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and have a great one. Bye-bye.